Okay, I have a short little video for you here today. This is effectively how to break the game in Caves of Qud. And we've played this character absolutely normally, low RNG, straight through the Tomb of the Eaters. And we've gotten to the Golem quest. And so what we're trying to do at this point is find all the different pieces for our Golem. Now, the hardest part of this, usually for me at least, is to find the weapon. So you have to provide one Zetachrome weapon. And so you might say, where do you get that? Well, you can get it in the depths, say like 20, 25, 30 deep, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. That takes some time. It takes a little bit of luck. It's certainly a way to go. I'm going to show you an alternative way to go. And not only is this going to get you Zetachrome weapons, which we're looking for, but it also gets you basically any item in the game. And the trick here, if you're not familiar, is to multiply your good vendors. So the best vendor at baseline in the game is Tilly, this plant here in the Yurd Freehold. So this is, I believe, a tier 8 vendor, which is just about as good as it gets. I think it's the same as having a depths 35 plus Dromad merchant. And so what we're going to do is make more Tillies so that we have lots of options to purchase good stuff from. The way we do that is with cloning drought. So every time you drop some cloning drought on top of Tilly and wait a few turns, you'll have another Tilly. And that Tilly will initially come with an empty inventory, but will restock after 3 to 5 days. So we're going to make a bunch of Tillies. So I got these cloning droughts just by checking Ichor merchants. We found a legendary Ichor merchant, for example, using the Wayfaring skill tree very early on in the game. So we just kept going back there and checking. There's also a guaranteed Ichor merchant in the Stilt, of course, and periodically they'll have cloning drought. Then you use metamorphic polygel here to multiply the amount of cloning gel that you have. And you get one of these polygels from completing the Tomb of the Eaters quest. I also happened to find one in a historic site sitting on a table or something. And so it is good to have more than one of these. Conveniently, Tilly sells these relatively frequently. And so I'm going to show you the first steps here to make more Tillies. And the idea is that you always keep some cloning drought in stock. And then Tilly is going to sell you more of the polygel. And then you can always make more cloning drought and more Tillies infinitely if you'd like. So the first thing you want to do, these come in files oftentimes, so you can only keep 1 dram in there, I think, maybe up to 3. Anyway, we're going to pour it into canteens. So pour into another container, and we'll just go into this canteen. And this will allow us to stack it up. So now we have 2 drams in here. And then we're going to hit it once with a metamorphic polygel. Make sure you don't misclick here. So duplicate that. And now we have twice as much. And then we'll pour that into the other one. So now you have 4 drams in a single place, and we're going to hit that again with our metamorphic polygel. And that's the idea. You just keep stacking that up. Now we have 8 drams. Next time we have 16, and so on and so forth. So now what we do is step up next to Tilly, pour it nearby. onto Tilly. We do 1 dram at a time. And now we just hit the wait button and we have 2 Tillys. And then we'll do it again. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and clone the new Tilly as well. Now we're just going to step out of the way here so there's room for Tillys to spawn. Now we have 4 Tillys. And I think for good measure, we're going to make 1 more Tilly. So we have 5 Tillys here. If you check their inventories, you'll see this is a clone of Tilly. Tilly has nothing to trade. The original Tilly keeps its inventory, including everything that you've sold to it. And the new Tillys will restock when it's time for them to restock. So we're going to go over here and make sure we're not hungry. We're going to cook some vine wafer so that we thirst at half rate. And then we're going to hit the wait button and we're going to wait for, say, 3,000 turns. And then what we're going to do is just wait until we get a message down here that says our vendors have restocked. So we have the Guts merchant here and the other merchants that will restock on the surface level. And when they restock, we'll assume Tilly's going to restock. Probably what we'll do after this 3,000 is we'll eat again maybe, and then we'll go down. And then we'll know when Tilly restocks. You can just as easily go walk around looking for ruins or whatever you want while you wait for this. But there we go. So they also all restocked at once. So let's go see what we got. We'll just go around the circle here and check all the Tillys. Taco Suprema's not bad. Nothing particularly interesting here, I guess. This is the original Tilly. You can tell because I've sold it some stuff. And we're really just looking for Zetachrome weapons at this point for our golem. But we'll also pick up any metamorphic polygel that we see because that will allow us to keep cloning the cloning gel. And you can sell that cloning drought to vendors if you need money because it's quite valuable. And so you're both copying your vendors and you're copying your money, essentially. So no luck this time. So we might as well check the rest of the vendors in the world. So I've been keeping an eye on this guts monger here that I moved over from the stilt because I'm still looking for the some of the cybernetics. But we'll go back to, let's see here. We'll go back to Ezra as well, because Ezra has another vendor which is high enough level to give us what we want as well. And that is 6 shrew. So nothing good there. I usually don't like to do this in most games. It's kind of boring, to be honest with you, and it is way too powerful. And so if you want to break your game and get infinite money and any items that you want to finish some of the challenging in-game stuff, this is absolutely the way to do it. If you're just playing a standard game and trying to have fun, trying to challenge yourself a little bit, then you probably don't want to do this. Which is why I've waited this long in the game to do it actually. I found my metamorphic polygel and the cloning drought early on. And so I could have started this and had at least 3 tillies for almost the entire game, off the back of an early find down in the salt marshes, is where it was. So I didn't do that. I chose not to do that because I like a little bit of a challenge. The game's easy enough as it is with this build. So go ahead and buy some Sphinx salt whenever we see it. We already have all this stuff. Hey, Zetachrome Battle Axe. Okay, there we go. Had to give a little more than I wanted, I suppose, getting rid of some of the cybernetics wedges, but I still have 4 times the 3 cent ones. And now that we have all these tillies, we can always multiply those using the metamorphic polygel as well. So feeling comfortable with that. There we go. Zetachrome Battle Axe achieved. Still have 4 drams of cloning drought, which is worth 3,000. So, obviously I could split this up, sell it off little by little. In fact, you can sell, I think, 2 of these to buy 1 metamorphic polygel, and effectively go back up to 4. Well, I guess you'd want to have more than 4 to do that. But if you had 6, you could sell 2 and then go up to 8. So you'd make 2 every time. So you can set this up to generate infinite money, essentially. So there it is. There's your easy way to break the game using infinite merchants. And Tilly is the perfect target. So you could do this with any other targets you wanted. Like I may want to focus cybernetics at this point, so I could go up top here and multiply my cybernetics dude here if I wanted. Um, Whatever you want, completely open.